guys, it's Lennon. Lovely little chat today. I'm in a blasphemous mood. I don't know why, okay? Actually, that's not true. It's probably because I'm still reeling from my work with Witches Blacklit, and if you haven't seen my video or any of the other ones, please go check out The Tag, okay? From Jasmyne and Trish over at Beanbag Hagwag, and I was a part of the Feast of Fiends, so if you're not familiar with that, go check us out below. I'll leave the videos below, okay? So I'm in a blasphemous mood, and I got to thinking the other day, there's so many, witches that come on YouTube that want to teach and that want to talk about witchcraft, and there's so many good videos and blogs and vlogs and social media posts of any kind that are trying to kind of like nudge new witches in good directions, and that's all fine and good. But I got to thinking, if I were to ever sit down with a new witch and they really didn't know in which direction to go, of course, I've probably done this on the channel before, like trying to map out some steps, I did make a video on what I consider the 10 fundamentals of witchcraft. I'll leave that below too, okay? And I stand by that video, all right? But for this video, I thought I'd go one step further and give 10 witchy commandments. So if someone were to come to the craft or come to witch as identity, I would think that if this is going to be part of your identity, then you would have to demand certain things of yourself and command yourself to continue to love and know and cherish a relationship with yourself. And then you can further that out with whatever being, spirits, deities, craft relevant things you want, okay? And I firmly stand by it starting with you being the spell, you being the ritual, you being the conduit in any kind of magical working that you want to pursue. And so if we're going to start with self, I needed to have some kind of let's even go down further baseline, right? These are under the fundamentals. This is the dirt. And it's not going to be commandments in which I guess you could call it the Judeo-Christian commandments, where it's to keep the people in line, okay? It's not to keep witches in line. These commandments to me are about the self and about how we can expand ourselves and generate that relationship to where the relationship with the craft that we will have has a good soil for the foundations of magic and witchcraft to come from. And so I guess I'm doing all this in building blocks, we're starting at the dirt. Actually, I made the video about the foundation. That was the plant matter of witchcraft, in my opinion. Still stand by that. But these commandments to me are like the dirt. We need good dirt, okay? Good, moist, humid dirt, okay? Fertile. And so I've left a picture. I made a little witchy commandment. Looks like a little scroll, Looks, if someone really resonates with the 10 commandments that I've set here, feel free to make your own. That's what the whole purpose of this video is, to make your own commandments for yourself. If you're going to pursue witchcraft, and if you do pursue witchcraft, make up your own and print it out and paste them on your wall or something, or at your altar or whatever. That's what I'm going to do. So I left a picture down below for you to download if you like my commandments, okay? So let's get started. The number one is pay attention. This is my motto for life anyway, okay? Life in general, pay attention. Paying attention is crucial for your flight or fight response, safety, but it's also nice to pay attention because when things happen, especially when we're dealing with other worlds, spirit worlds, things like that, when you're dealing with that, you really need to be able, not all the time, okay, but you need to be able to open yourself up for those symbols and messages and visions, and in order to do that, I think that you, in a large way, you have to pay attention. But this goes across everything in my life. You know, you pay attention to the people that you surround yourself with. You read the room, you read the emotions, you know, you're reading the energy and the clutter, you're reading, you know, the vibes and the vibrations, and your synapses are always firing. And if you're not paying attention, then in just a general way, this can be at the back burner, you know, but paying attention helps to narrow focus for me. So that's number one, because that's just my like motto that I would tell a group of people that is like, what is the message of life? Pay attention. Number two is another duh one, I guess, and that's know thyself. There's a reason it's on temples, okay? It's a reason. There's a reason for it. And know thyself encompasses so much. And I didn't put anything about like loving oneself because I believe that it's in this category. Okay. Self-love is inside know thyself. And it encompasses, it's an umbrella term that encompasses so much. Self-love, gratification, self-validation, getting in touch with the self, knowing your morals, your values, having a compass for that. Which way do you point north? Are these your instincts and intuition, or are you running, wading through someone else's ether waters? Okay. So getting in touch with yourself, forming that relationship will develop into loving thyself. So it's all under the umbrella term of know thyself, in my opinion. Number three is have faith in something. This is a little cheeky, okay? This is a little cheeky because in my opinion, faith and belief, they're kind of like two sides of the same coin. When you believe in something, you really know it, okay? You intrinsically know, and it's belief. Now, it can shift, okay? I'm not saying it can't. It's not set in stone, but it's something that you intrinsically know, and it's a moment thing. It's a presence. And then faith is kind of the same thing, okay? But you're going off of faith, not intrinsically knowing. And there is more of a fluidity with faith. So, two sides of the same coin. Belief, you could say have belief, believe in things, and have faith in things. I would put those under this number three. But have faith in something opens you up for love. It opens your heart up. Having faith in people, having faith in humanity, having faith in yourself, having faith in tomorrow, I think those are beautiful things. And belief can be the same way. It can be a beautiful feeling. And when you start to lose your faith in something that you want to have faith in, there are ways that you can go, especially in the age of the internet, okay? There's places and things on the internet that you can go to form those moments of feel good, those moments of joy, to restore your faith. So have faith in something. What do you have faith in today? That's what I would ask you. And that all these are kind of linked, you know, to be honest with you. But the next one is be curious. This has been my motto since childhood, for life too. I've always had this sense of wonder that has never gone away. No matter how many times people have told me that that's childish, to go outside and make dandelion crowns, that's literally been said to me. Like, aren't you a little old for that? Like, no. Who the hell's too old for dandelion crowns? No one. Ever. So I want to be 80 years old with dandelion crowns in the spring on my head, okay? But it's sometimes you do things that people may tell you is childish, may tell you, aren't you a little old for that? Haven't you outgrown that? Those kinds of things. That right there, those things that you do that other people will tell you that you should have grown out of, or you should be too old for that, those are that childlike wonder, coloring with crayons, okay? And I'll even go one step further, because I'm an advocate for, if you want to really dive into the psyche in terms of like coloring with crayons, don't get a coloring book. Do real paper, regular paper, okay? And that way, It's not intrinsic in your brain that, oh, I'm coloring out of the lines, I've got to stay within the lines. No, 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 no. Okay? No. So be a friend to yourself and get some copy paper and crayon the hell out of those. Okay? But be curious in a way that's one of the ways that I continue to have faith in the world, is by being curious. Have this curious nature. What are you passionate about? Go and be curious about branches of those things. And the next one is acknowledge your free will. Again, we're being cheeky against the Christians who think that free will is, free will is very complicated when it's taught by priests and pastors, especially in my life, okay, about how it's given to you by God, but how it's still quite tethered to the divine in a way that isn't yours. And that if you do so many things, the string in which you're tethered to the divine can become more and more frayed. And then if it does eventually sever the tether between you and the divine, then that's when you go to hell. Okay, that's what I was taught. And so, like, the more you chip away at that string, that tether, using your free will in a way that does not benefit or your relationship with God, or that angers God in a way, talking about sin, okay, or going against the commandments even, you can eventually sever that tie between you and the divine, okay? I don't believe this. So I want to be able to acknowledge my free will, but this, again, these are umbrella terms. When we're acknowledging our free will, we're acknowledging our responsibility for our actions. We're taking control of our actions. We're actually knowing what we want and need out of life. And then we're holding ourselves accountable, and possibly with boundary work, holding the ones around us at bay enough to where they stay with, we have a boundary around ourselves, okay? You have to decide how much you're going to let people in, all right? There's still a boundary, even with your partner, all right? Or the one that's the closest person to you, you're still supposed to have boundaries, in my opinion, okay? Anyway, but acknowledging your free will encompasses all of that. The next one, I'm kind of pulling from the Hermetic principle here of as above, so below. This, to me, this is, again, a way to link curiosity and faith and all that, because I want my witchcraft and my being, as I'm the fertile dirt here, okay, in these commandments. I want this fertile dirt to mirror myself, okay? I want it to be about myself, but I want it to be a macrocosmic adventure as well. So I want to acknowledge all the things about myself in a macro and microcosmic way. That's as above, so below. The principle therein. Be an eternal student is the next one. I'm an eternal student. This just means if you ever get to a place where you think that you have learned it all, slap yourself. Just slap yourself. Okay? That's what being an eternal student means. There have been a couple of times in my life where I have said, I am an expert on this now. Okay, not to anybody like outside of myself, but in my head, I'm like, I've spent 20 hours on this, or I've not 20 hours, 20 days on this, or I've been doing this for 10 years and I can never know more. Slap yourself silly. Just slap yourself until you stop thinking that, okay? And I have literally gotten to a point in an endeavor where I've like, okay, yeah, I know a lot about this, okay? And my ego will start to go, yeah, you're a freaking expert. Like everyone, your ego will like ramp you up and be like, yeah, so-and-so really admired your take on this, and this, and they admired your advice on this, and this. Still doesn't make you an expert. Nothing does. I don't believe that if you have 15 degrees, it still doesn't make you a damn expert. You can always learn more. There are always, that's another thing that is under the umbrella term of being an eternal student, and that is change is inevitable. If you've read all the books that have been published on this subject, there is still a book that has not been written on this subject by one vantage point that may change the entire structure of that one subject, in my opinion. So being an eternal student is one of my commandments. All right, quoting Joseph Campbell here, we're going to follow our bliss, okay? That's the next one. Follow our bliss. When you're following your bliss, you're being curious about it, you're holding faith with it, it's a joyous experience, okay? It's called bliss for a reason. And following our bliss is going to, in my again, all these are in my opinion. In my opinion, following your bliss is ensuring a portion of happiness in your life. Happiness is fleeting. I don't want to sound too macabre here, okay? But in my humble opinion, happiness is fleeting. It is a moment-to-moment thing. And you've got to be paying attention. You've got to have faith in that moment. You've got to ride the moment out. That's when you're going to feel the joy. Right there. So following your bliss, following what makes you joyous, then capture that in a present moment. Allow yourself to feel the joy and the bliss. And you'll, a lot of those moments made up will make a bag of happiness, a full bag of happiness, fullness. So following your bliss will lead to happiness overall. Mindfulness, okay? Mindfulness is the next one. This can be any form of mindfulness you want to put in here. Again, this is an umbrella term. For me, this is meditation, this is imagination, path walking, other world journeys, okay? All of that is how I ensure mindfulness within myself. That's it. However you are going to let your mind wander, have some time for contemplation. That's it. In which ways do you allow for your mind to wander? Allow the complication. Allow for contemplation to occur. Allow the mind to do what it wants to do for a little while. I think that is incredibly important for us to just tap right away, right off of social media, of your chores, whatever. Hell, while you're doing chores, and just let contemplation happen. Think about shit. That's it. In a very abstract, let it go where it's going to go way. That's the rub too, is that you're not really thinking about things. You're thinking about just all these. They're like butterflies flying around, and you got this idea and this idea and this thought and this thought and this train and blah, blah, blah. And that's it. It's contemplation. It's just, it goes like this. They're little butterflies flying around your head. Okay? That's mindfulness. All right, now the last one, okay? The last one is, they're all my favorites, okay? But the last one I would say is the life, death, rebirth awareness. Because, a lot of these I didn't get too witchy with, all right? But you can put your own witch spin on them all right? But for this, life, death, and rebirth awareness is incredibly important to me and my craft. I want to know I want to be so curious, and I want to follow the bliss. I want to know the micro and the macro cosmic ramifications of life and death and rebirth. There are mysteries that are there. Questions that are there that may never get the answers. We may never get the answers to some of the questions of life, death, and rebirth. But having your heart and your mind open to those questions and being aware of the mystery is incredibly important to me. Yeah. I hope that you enjoyed going through the 10 Witchcraft Commandments with me. These, again, are mine and mine alone, my opinions. I will leave the picture for you below, as well as my other videos. If you want to make your own 10 commandments, something that you're going to demand of yourself and of your witchcraft and the relationship they're in, feel free. Feel free. All right? Let me know which ones you would change around or you would keep, or which ones are yours. Let me know below, you know? I hope you're having a great day. Much love.